Story 1. I matched with someone recently who had specifically mentioned that they were coming back from a long break in dating and were now dating intentionally. The conversation was as good as could be reasonably expected. After a while, I asked her out. She excitedly said yes and asked for my number to continue the conversation there. A few days went by. Then she texted me apologizing, saying she doesn't drive and had just sold her car but forgot because she was so excited. I was a little reluctant to respond but did, and we talked a little more with that original enthusiasm. Then I offered to go on an alternate date within walking distance of her and never heard back. This is the dating experience. Why have hope? Story 2. Top of the list would probably be you complaining about yourself being hopeless. Story 3. Because I want the relationship or person to be perfect, I keep trying to find flaws in them. As a result, I end up self-sabotaging. The silliest example is when I did not go on a second date with a brilliant person who was way out of my league because they did not know that Bhutan is a country. I know I am not smart. Story 4. I guess I have become so used to my own company and doing things on my own that the idea of trying to accommodate someone into my life seems overwhelming. I want companionship, but I am fearful of losing my alone time and independence. When I say that, many people brush me off and say, the right person will not make you feel that way, but I have a hard time believing it. Story 5. Anyone I could enter into a relationship with would have to bring more to my life than peace and solitude, and I have not found her yet. Story 6. Interestingly enough, people do not consider you a catch if you are 56, overweight, poor, and sick. Story 7. I am very picky. I have been on many first dates this past year, but most of the time, I am just not feeling it. The rare times when I am feeling it, she is not. Chemistry is a strange thing. It is always better to be single than to be with the wrong person. Story 8. I do not force men to talk to me. I automatically assume that the men I am attracted to already have a girlfriend, would not be interested in me, or that they are attracted to men. Story 9. Respectfully, apart from physical intimacy, there is nothing a girl can offer me at this point in my life. Story 10. I do not force connections. I would rather be alone than entertain something that feels empty or fake. Story 11. I have trust issues. Anytime anyone is even a little nice to me, I assume they are up to something. Story 12. I'm almost 55. I've basically been single since I was divorced in 2009. I have dated off and on, but my brokenness has attracted similar people, so I only venture back out every once in a while. A recent example of why I only venture out periodically. A great first date, even with the pink flags, not quite red but close, and the instinct tingles were starting. I chalked it up to first good date nerves. I said yes to a second date the next day, and when I asked him to plan it, his only response was, "You don't want me to do that. I'll only get handsy with you. Nope, goodbye. I'm not into low effort. So not that I'm hopeless, but not much to work with." Story 13. I still live in the house I bought when I was married and raised my son from my previous marriage in. We bought it because it is in a great place for families. However, after getting cheated on and divorced again, I bought her portion of the house and stayed to give myself some continuity and stability. That being said, given that it is a great place for families, now that I am single, it is a useless place for singles. On top of that, I also work from home, so no office romances for me. Story 14. After 2 marriages and always being broke, once I became single, I started to have money in my account and was able to buy things I wanted for my man cave. I am truly happy. No one to compromise with or endure funny quirks. Wanted to watch that movie but had to compromise and watch The Notebook again. Wanted to watch that new TV show but she insisted on watching home renovations to fall asleep to. I may have upset my ex by saying this, but I was afraid of being alone and found out I am happy being single. Story 15. I look for myself in people and the same values: transparency, honesty, loyalty, and respect. Apparently, these are impossible to find these days. Story 16. If I had the confidence to make a move on girls, I would definitely have somebody. I am a good-looking guy, but I never actually ask girls out, flirt, or show interest in any way. Story 17. Because no one likes me. Literally no one. Not romantically, sexually, or even platonically. I don't even know how to talk to someone in a way that would attract them. Story 18. I've done all this work to be the best version of myself. I'm not wasting it on anyone who is not worth it. Story 19. None of my hobbies or interests promote meeting new women. I am not keen on the idea of potentially dating someone from work, and after spending 6 months on the absolute mess that is online dating, I have accepted the fact that I will likely be single forever. Story 20. It seems nearly everyone my age has moved away or already has family. The few single people I know have poor work situations and no time or money to do much. Story 21. I do many things for the plot that make me look unappealing to the general public. Story 22. Not my fault you cannot stand to be on your own with your own thoughts for long before you need to find a distraction. Story 23. Went through a difficult separation and I am halfway through a fitness journey. I can be as charming and friendly as I want, but many people do not notice you when you are overweight. It is what it is. I will find someone soon enough. Story 24. I've had some really good shorter relationships lasting up to a year or so, which ended respectfully. However, the two women I dedicated the most time to, over 5 years each, both ended with me finding out they were cheating. After the more recent of these, I kind of checked out of the dating scene for the past 4 years. Story 25. I am really introverted and get too attached to one person so they eventually leave. Story 26. I am constantly swiping for people in their late 30s and early 40s even though I am in my early 50s. I can't help it. Jesus, please help me. Story 27. I am too busy with work, health issues, and general life. Dating takes too much time. Story 28. 1. I got tired of being cheated on. 2. I already have 3 people I have to take care of. I do not need a fourth. Story 29. I am not hopelessly single now, but I was until 2 years ago. Here is why. When I was 21 years old, I got into a relationship with a man who came from a toxic and dysfunctional family. I saw how hard he worked and how much he was trying to make it work, even though everything was against him since childhood. He was physically and mentally abused by his mother and her constantly changing boyfriends. I felt a lot of compassion and empathy, and I was strongly drawn to him because of his good sense of style and work ethic. In the beginning, things were good. He was affectionate, showed me off, and eventually began love bombing, which I did not realize at the time. Fast forward a couple of years, and I did not even recognize his manipulation tactics, controlling behavior, and constant lying. Later, verbal and physical abuse began, along with cheating. I became a wreck of a person. At that time, I worked about 50 hours per week and barely had time for anything. At night, I would argue with him about the smallest things or worry that he was cheating on me. I went through a severe period of depression and honestly do not remember much from that time because my brain shut it down from my consciousness. The relationship ended in an arrest. He and his child's mother, as he had cheated on me and fathered a child, tried to kick me out of my own flat. The police arrested him, escorted him out, and removed the child's mother. It was a very traumatic experience. I packed my belongings and left the same day. I never looked back. After this, I struggled to trust anyone. I went through extensive therapy and took antidepressants. After years of being single, when I finally felt ready to start dating, I quickly realized there were more issues to fix. I hadn't seen them before because I was not dating, and they only surfaced once I started seeing someone. I decided to return to therapy and work on myself. Eventually, after another year or so, I was able to start dating again. The entire experience made me realize that my previous partner not only took 5 years of my life, but also cost me several more years after the relationship ended. I became dysfunctional myself. I did not trust anyone, assumed bad intentions, became very independent and career-driven, cared only about myself and my friends, and saw men as disgusting creatures who ruin lives for fun. I was terrified to get into a relationship because I thought, what is the point? He will lie and pretend. I will fall in love, and months later I will realize he is toxic too, and then I will end up hurt, broken, or worse. Thankfully, I managed to get past that phase. For 2 years now, I have been in a relationship with a wonderful man. He has been nothing but kind to me, He listens, tries his best, and does not always understand me but is willing to try. Although men and women are different and think differently, he always makes sure I can talk to him. He has great hobbies and interests and always includes me in them. He is respectful and intelligent. I am finally happy, even though at the beginning I was afraid. I am glad I gave him a chance. Story 30. Because I almost never leave the house, and I am typically with my family when I do. Story 31. Physically attracted to men, yet not interested in sharing my life with a man. It is hard enough making plans for myself and cleaning up after myself. God knows I cannot do it for a man. I am not even all that into sex, so thank you, but no thank you. Story 32. I accidentally quit dating for most of my 20s and did not really go out or try to meet people during that time. I have been working on myself since then. Story 33. I have already accepted it. If it happens, it happens. If it does not happen, it does not happen. Story 34. Well, I think it was because of my shyness, introverted nature, and culture which frowns upon these things. In my mind, I had a decoy explanation. I felt that I was somehow stronger and different from others who chase such things. So it was a coping mechanism. Recently, I attempted to finally experience something, but I realized that I fall so hard that I am unable to manage my emotions. Therefore, I don't think relationships are something I can handle. Story 35. 3 key factors. My ethnicity, past traumas, choosing to opt out of the situation completely to avoid further rejection. Story 36. I have been dating continuously for the last 5 to 6 years with different women. Same theme, different scene. It is always me. Story 37. I am deeply afraid of breakups, so I avoid contact with girls, hoping it will hurt us less than going through a breakup. Story 38. I would not classify myself as hopeless, more like gainfully single. I enjoy my personal time, my freedom, my hobbies, and my current status quo too much to let them go. The person who would make me change my life of doing whatever, whenever would have to be someone amazing, and I have not met her yet. Story 39. Nothing hopeless about peace, freedom, and fully owning your life. Story 40. I do not meet the attractiveness level that most women desire. Some women I have been involved with have often tried to isolate me from my responsibilities as a father and make me choose between them and my children. Story 41. I try my best, but it does not go well for me. So yes, I live with it. Story 42. I am overweight but not attracted to large women. It takes at least 30 minutes to reach the nearest large city, and there is basically nothing to do nearby. Honestly, I am probably undateable as a whole. I am not attractive enough to get attention on dating apps, and I am not exciting enough to keep attention if I ever received any. I have no desire to go out constantly. None of my friends are highly social either. I do not want to make a bunch of acquaintances that I barely spoke to at parties just to say I have many friends. Story 43. Not hopeless, just have not met anyone who sparked my interest in a while. I am pretty happy doing my own thing. I guess he will have to be pretty amazing to pull me away from being happy on my own. Story 44. I was mostly single before I joined dating websites. It was difficult to approach a girl in person and determine if she was single and interested. That changed with dating websites. It is really a numbers game. You have to keep trying constantly and forget about the rejections. Story 45. I am shy, an introvert, a homebody, overweight, live at home, have no job, no friends, no money, and live with severe mental illness. However, I am debt-free and own my truck, so I have that going for me. Story 46. I don't know. I just don't find anyone interesting nowadays, especially in a world where cheating and hookup culture are trendy, have become normal, and everyone participates. No one is genuinely in love anymore, and true love has become non-existent. This is my issue because I want old, traditional romance and love, not from the 1950s, but where you meet someone, have true, genuine dates and conversations, and genuinely love each other. You want to get to know each other. Sex shouldn't be the priority. It seems like you cannot find this anywhere anymore in today's world, so I'm better off being single. Story 47. Because my partner is busy right now doing some fine-tuning. He will come for me soon. Story 48. I do not connect with women very well romantically. I do not attract much attention overall, but even when I do, I tend to fumble it in the early stages, either by not pursuing very aggressively or not being the kind of person they expected. Story 49. The child-free dating pool in my area after age 40 is abysmal. I am good on my own. It certainly beats settling. Story 50. I work in a field full of incompetent, egocentric people I wouldn't approach. I live in a city with schools that produce graduates who are not known for critical thinking skills, mostly memorizing and repeating useless, outdated information. This might be acceptable when distracted but not when clear-headed. I see what others endure around me, and I refuse to accept this. Why would I want to make my life and others miserable? Sometimes it is better to be alone than to be surrounded by people and feel lonely. Story 51. I am a beautiful woman, and men enjoy my personality and sense of humor. They all say I am a great, caring person. I am independent, intelligent, have no children, and I am single. However, when I ask a man if he would like to go out with me, I am rejected repeatedly. There can be chemistry, attraction, and flirtation, but they will not give me the time of day. Time after time, they say I deserve better than them, and I am left dumbfounded. Meanwhile, I am 47, have no children, I am single, independent, and have cancer. I will probably die wondering why not me. Story 52. I do not romantically like the people who like me, and the people I like do not like me back romantically. Story 53. My teeth are damaged. My medical history is complicated. My hair is difficult to manage, and my job makes dating a nightmare. Pick one or any. Story 54. By choice, especially as a woman, being single is the only way to protect my financial assets. Story 55. In my opinion, marriage is not a goal. It is a cultural construct based on religion. The idea that monogamy is not natural for humans is a complex one, with valid arguments on both sides. While humans are capable of forming monogamous bonds and many societies prioritize monogamy, there is also evidence suggesting that our biology and evolutionary history might not be exclusively geared towards lifelong, exclusive relationships. It is more accurate to say that monogamy is a cultural construct and a choice, rather than a predetermined biological imperative. The debate about whether monogamy is natural highlights that it is not a simple, clear-cut issue. While humans have the capacity for monogamy and can form strong pair bonds, our evolutionary history and biological makeup also suggest a degree of flexibility in mating behavior. Ultimately, monogamy is a cultural ideal and a personal choice, rather than a fixed biological imperative. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.